The headline flashed across screens: Volkswagen to cease all U.S. operations. At first it seemed like a mistake, a typo, maybe even a bad joke, but it was real. Volkswagen, the German auto giant, was pulling out of the United States. The news hit like a physical blow. Phones rang in newsrooms, dealerships, and homes across the country. People stared at their televisions, faces a mixture of confusion and shock. VW was more than just a car company. It was the Beetle, the bus, the Jetta, a brand woven into the fabric of American life. The announcement left a gaping hole in the heart of the auto market. Panic set in at VW dealerships nationwide. Frantic customers demanded answers. Owners with cars in the service bay worried if they'd ever get them back. The stock market reacted instantly. Other car company stocks surged, while VW's supply chain partners saw their values plummet. The decision, made in a German boardroom, sent a shockwave across a continent. For millions, it felt deeply personal. Volkswagen's initial statements were cold and corporate: strategic realignment, core markets. But for Americans, these were just empty words. They didn't comfort the thousands of workers who would soon be jobless. On the evening news, reporters stood in front of darkened dealership lots, interviewing stunned employees. The story was no longer just about a company, it was about people. The shock was felt most deeply in Chattanooga, Tennessee, home to Volkswagen's only U.S. assembly plant. The factory was a source of immense local pride and a powerful engine for the regional economy. Thousands worked there, building the Passat and Atlas. Now their future was uncertain. The news was not just a headline, it was a direct threat to livelihoods and communities. The American dream, for many in Chattanooga, was built with a VW logo. Now, it was turning into a nightmare. The nation watched, holding its breath, wondering what would come next. Volkswagen's exit was more than a business decision, it was the end of an era. Volkswagen's story in America began in the 1950s with the Beetle, a small, quirky car that defied Detroit's big, flashy models. Americans fell in love with its simplicity, reliability, and charm. The Beetle became a symbol of counterculture in the 1960s, embraced by students, artists, and free spirits. The Think Small ad campaign turned its quirks into strengths. The VW bus followed, becoming the ultimate symbol of freedom and adventure. Road trips, music festivals, and family vacations. These vehicles weren't just cars, they were rolling homes, canvases for creativity, and key characters in countless American stories. VW owners became a community, united by their love for these unique vehicles. As decades passed, Volkswagen grew up with America. The Rabbit, then the Jetta, became hits for their fun driving and affordability. VW built a reputation for quality and a special driving feel. For many, owning a VW meant joining a club that valued smart design and a solid road experience. This deep bond made the news of VW's exit so painful. VWs were passed down through generations. Grandfather's Beetle to granddaughter's first car. Family Jettas for first dates and college moves. These cars were keepers of memories, not just transportation. The brand's departure felt like losing a piece of American history. For millions, it was saying goodbye to an old, trusted friend. The end of VW in America marked the end of an era. The love affair was over, leaving nostalgia and loss in its wake. Volkswagen's story in America was more than business, it was personal. Now, that chapter had closed. Volkswagen's decision to leave America was years in the making. The Dieselgate scandal in 2015 was the biggest blow. VW was caught cheating on emissions tests, shattering trust and costing billions. The company's reputation for honesty and engineering was destroyed in the US. Beyond the scandal, VW faced relentless financial pressure. Building and selling cars in America was expensive, and profits were elusive. VW's cars were often priced higher than Japanese and American rivals, making it hard to compete. The brand was stuck, not luxury, not budget, struggling to find its place. The final blow, the global shift to electric vehicles. Developing EVs requires massive investment. VW's leadership saw the US market as a constant struggle, while Europe and China were more profitable. The decision was cold and calculated: cut losses in America, focus on winning the EV race elsewhere, repairing the brand after Dieselgate, high costs, and the urgent need to invest in EVs made staying impossible. Volkswagen chose to retreat, consolidating power where it was strongest. For American customers and workers, it was the end of the road. The company amputated a limb to save the body. VW's exit was a business strategy, but it felt like a personal betrayal. The American market, with its unique tastes and fierce competition, was no longer worth the fight. Volkswagen's departure was a stark lesson in the cost of lost trust and changing times. The era of VW in America was over. The day the news broke, chaos erupted at over 600 Volkswagen dealerships across the US. These were local businesses, often family-owned for generations. Suddenly, their future vanished. Phones rang non-stop with angry, confused customers. Salespeople stood among unsellable cars. The value of their inventory plummeted overnight. For tens of thousands of dealership employees, sales managers, mechanics, receptionists, the news was devastating. Specialized VW technicians like Maria in Chicago faced uncertain futures. Their skills suddenly felt worthless. In Chattanooga, Tennessee, the VW assembly plant's closure was a death sentence for the local economy. Over 4,000 workers faced job loss. The sense of betrayal was overwhelming. The plant's closure meant the loss of good-paying jobs and a blow to the community's hopes. Local governments faced budget crises as tax revenue evaporated. Schools, parks, and public services were at risk. The ripple effect of despair spread through entire communities. The promise of prosperity, built around the factory, was shattered. The human cost of Volkswagen's decision was paid by ordinary people. Volkswagen's closure sent shockwaves through a vast network of suppliers and small businesses. Factories making seats, windows, and parts for VW lost their biggest contracts overnight. In Ohio, a plastics factory laid off half its workforce. In Alabama, a tire manufacturer announced massive layoffs. Local diners, grocery stores, and real estate markets felt the pain as spending dried up. The ripple effects hollowed out local economies, leaving closed storefronts and for sale signs. Trucking companies, ad agencies, and even uniform cleaners lost business tied to VW. Every connection, no matter how small, was severed, causing economic harm down the line. The loss of the Chattanooga plant alone affected over 20,000 additional jobs in the region. The promise of a manufacturing renaissance turned into a lesson in the risks of relying on a single employer. For countless workers and small business owners, VW's exit was a direct blow to their financial security. The impact was not just corporate, it was deeply personal and local. The economic pain spread far beyond the headlines. Volkswagen's exit created tragedy for many, but opportunity for rivals. Ford, Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai launched aggressive campaigns to win over millions of loyal VW customers. New ads promised reliability and stability. "We're not going anywhere." Special discounts targeted VW owners, and salespeople were armed with new talking points. The fiercest battles were in segments where VW had been strong: compact SUVs and sedans. Honda, Toyota, and Hyundai positioned their models as the new smart choice. Dealerships for other brands saw a surge in traffic, winning over customers who felt abandoned. Rivals weren't just selling cars, they were selling security and trust. The American auto market was reshaping itself in real time. One company's loss became another's gain. For millions of VW owners, the company's exit brought anxiety and confusion. Service and repairs became a major worry. Would parts and trained technicians still be available? Resale values plummeted overnight, leaving owners with unexpected financial losses. Used car lots hesitated to take VWs, fearing future headaches. The emotional toll was heavy. Pride in ownership turned to unease. VW enthusiasts saw their community fractured, their cars now reminders of a brand that had left them behind. Owners faced a tough choice: sell at a loss or risk being stranded with a car that's hard to maintain. The promise of German engineering now felt like a broken contract. Volkswagen's exit sent shockwaves through the global auto industry. For decades, success in the US was seen as essential for any automaker. VW's departure challenged that idea. The move disrupted global supply chains, causing layoffs and economic pain far beyond America. Other car makers saw both a warning and an opportunity. The US market is tough, but VW's absence left space to grow. The event became a case study in the importance of brand reputation and adapting to local markets. VW's focus on EVs in Europe and China put pressure on rivals to accelerate their own plans. The US government might rethink policies on trade and domestic production. VW's pullout was a symptom of a larger shift toward electric power and new, global alignments. The industry was being remade, and the empty space left by VW was a key piece of the puzzle. The world watched as America adjusted to life without Volkswagen. Volkswagen's departure marks a new chapter for the American auto market. The rise of electric vehicles accelerates, with Ford, GM, Tesla, and Hyundai racing to fill the gap. More affordable EVs and increased competition mean better choices for consumers. New players, startups, and foreign brands have a chance to become household names. Car ownership itself is changing, with car sharing and subscription models gaining popularity. A new generation values access and convenience over traditional ownership. The American worker and consumer will adapt. Mechanics will retrain. Dealerships will reinvent. The loss of VW is sad, but the market is dynamic and forward-looking. The road ahead is about embracing innovation and new opportunities. America's journey continues, shaped by resilience and change.